What's up, everybody? Welcome to week 5's reflection. I'm not really feeling it today. I've kind of put it off all day. I've felt uncertain about what specifically I want to talk about. I've also felt very guilty and kind of ashamed of how I've shown up this week in regard to the Artist's Way. And so I found myself feeling stuck the last few days around, did I really do week 5? Did I do it well enough or comprehensively enough? Did I dedicate enough time to this every day? And I strongly debated staying in week 5 this upcoming week so I could dedicate more time to it. And I decided today to read week 6 to see if it resonated with me and if I felt like I was ready to move on. And I think I am. I think there's a lot in week 5 to process and to start to explore. It feels much bigger than week 6, to be honest. And I found myself rereading the chapter constantly because there was just so many concepts that it felt hard to focus on all of them. And as I reviewed kind of what I've done in the past week and how I've felt outside of my Artist's Way work, I'm really trying to keep in mind that ebb and flow, the fact that things are constantly changing, not just in regard to the Artist's Way for me, but in my life, in the world. This restless energy that I mentioned last week has continued to be prevalent, and it's made it very hard for me to focus and carve out time for the things I want to do. So as I came into this video, I was like, what do I even have to talk about? I didn't do a lot of stuff this week, or at least it didn't feel that way. As I looked back, I've done more than I initially gave myself credit for, but I think it's just that same thing like that I've talked about before, guilt and shame around how I show up differently each day. Trying to shift the focus onto the things and the places where I did show up for myself and giving myself credit for those. Recognizing things like the fact that it's spring and there's a lot more happening in my life. Like when I started this 5 weeks ago or whatever, it felt pretty easy to just lock in and do this stuff each week because I wasn't really motivated to do anything else. It was cold and I was content with sitting inside, and springtime for me always brings excitement and restlessness. This isn't something new to me, but the pressure that I'm putting on myself to not feel that restlessness or to do something else, kind of punishing myself for feeling restless, that is the part that I can really control. Yeah. I'll talk briefly about one of the main things in this chapter, and then honestly, I'm probably going to wrap it up because I'm just not feeling it. But virtue trap. So this was a theme that came up quite a bit. It was a main section of week 5. This idea of sacrificing yourself and putting others before yourself, essentially to be like a good person or to come off as a good guy or whatever in other people's eyes, and how that is really like just a way to avoid honoring yourself. And we're constantly concerned that maybe what we're doing, especially in regard to our creativity and our creative recovery, maybe that's selfish, and we're not used to putting ourselves first and prioritizing our needs and our wants. It doesn't always have to be need-based. We're allowed to put our wants before other people's needs. And that can be really hard. I know that personally I struggle with this desire to be a good guy. I mean, there's nothing wrong with being a good person. I do think I'm a good person. I think I'm kind. I think I'm caring and empathetic. These are traits that I think are great about me, actually. I think the issue is trying to be a nice person. Nice versus kind, that's like a whole thing. And I realize I'm kind of all over the place this week, but being a nice person, if it means sacrificing my wants and needs, it's very destructive to my creative recovery and to my creativity. If I have free time and I want to use that free time to create or even to rest, and someone asks me to help them with something or do something, I mean, obviously I can if I want to. And sometimes we do make sacrifices for people we love, but I'm someone I love. And sometimes I need to prioritize myself. So, it's, I think, learning a balance, learning that it's okay to be selfish. I mean, it feels weird to even say, but it is. It's okay. Everyone is selfish at times. And I don't know. How has this shown up for me? I think how it's shown up for me is relationships, like friendships, and as I start to explore dating again, like being honest with people about my priorities. Yeah. Like, in any situation, you can be honest or you can be nice. Honesty isn't inherently mean or whatever, but honesty always has the possibility of getting a reaction that you weren't expecting, that you weren't hoping for. Honesty can hurt people, even if it's with the best intention. And so it can be scary to be honest. It's very scary to be honest. But it's also the best, and in my opinion, the only way to live, because when you're honest, that's like a gift you're giving to someone else. And to yourself. You're saying, this is where I'm at, and then letting them do with that what they will. And when you're honest with someone, they can decide they don't like it. They can decide that you're being selfish and that they don't want anything to do with you. Or it can be more subtle than that. They just decide, okay, well, I'm wanting something different. Or people can surprise you and they can, agree with what you've said, or, you don't know how someone's going to respond to your honesty until you do it. But you can't give someone else the opportunity to be honest until you're honest with them. And I don't think you can be honest with them until you're honest with yourself. And to me, this idea of a virtue trap, of putting yourself first, means being honest with yourself. Like, is that something I want to do? Is it something I'm willing to do? Is it a sacrifice I'm willing to make? And am I doing it because it's aligned with where I'm at and because it feels like the right decision? Or am I doing it because I feel obligated, or I'm worried that they might see me differently and maybe not think I'm such a nice guy? I don't know. I don't know if this makes sense. You can probably sense my energy right now. I'm just, it's raining outside. It's cold. I've been in the house all day. Yeah, it's all good. Everything's good. I'm just tired. So yeah, real quick, I'm gonna talk about this upcoming week because it's week 6. The theme of week 6 is like abundance and creating space for abundance. I've already read it. It's a very cool chapter, and it resonated a lot with me. I am traveling this week. I'm going camping with friends over the weekend, so my week looks very different. I'm gonna have a lot less time to myself and a lot less time to dedicate solely to the Artist Way, and that's cool. We're gonna roll with the flow and see what happens. I'm excited, and maybe having this modified week and getting to spend time with friends out in nature will give me a revamped sense of energy, and I'll come back next week feeling differently and more invested. And I don't know, I'm just gonna take it one day at a time. But that's it for today, honestly. And sorry if it was all over the place and you couldn't follow. I don't know what the fuck I said, but I'm just gonna post this. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. As always, I promise I will continue to post these until I'm finished with the Artist Way. And yeah, have a great week. I hope your journey's going well. Feel free to reach out to me and share your experience or ask questions. And I will talk to you next Monday, probably. All right.